It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
They had a big bust with Puff Diddy where he got arrested.
All lies will be exposed. That's all.
And then they've had like accusations and stuff. He hasn't gone on trial, I don't think yet. But
and anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
do you think that there's been speculation that they did that because the timing of that was they wanted to...
How powerful Harvey Weinstein was at the time that I was meeting with him, and how
like use other people that have allegedly been involved in some of his circles.
the truth is the light. Because I know how blessed I am. If I look at it, I got it. That's how Diddy be feeling.
Now, come on, man.
They wanted to kind of use like, okay, you could be next unless you help this political plan. Do you think that's at all possible?
That's how all cases are handled.
Yeah.
Right?
You said it was more. Tell the story.
That's right.
I'm gonna let you tell it.
No, you're
No,
the
I
best.
want you to tell it.
You really are the best. You've proven it here today.
You're just gonna like get mad at and you're just gonna hang up on me, so I feel like...
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
What does that even mean?
So you're not supposed to look at anything that you don't want.
So what am I saying? I'm saying if it's car theft and we're going to accuse you of having a carjacking ring, right? We're going to begin by bringing in people that we caught who were robbing cars, who said that you was the boss. They're first in line.
Friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown.
That's the whole thing, is I don't have a type of woman. Every woman that I ever had as a type, I ended up getting her. Now she's not the type anymore. Now I understand that every woman is a one of one.
This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby.
Who gonna turn down $50 million? Now I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times.
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
What does that even mean?
I didn't want to get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan
There you
Majors.
go. Come on, cat.
Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not gonna act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror. And then we're gonna bring in victims, the people whose cars you stole and said, yeah, that was him. That's how they build a case. So, just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. None of that should be shocking.
You don't put it past them.
It's part of what an investigation is.
But do you feel like they would say to someone, okay, we're going to bring you in unless...
Absolutely. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even like in the rap world, like all of the rappers that you know that never been to jail and never gotten any trouble with the law, but they talk as if their life is opposite of that. Like those are federal informants, like, you know.
You think they're really out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of the job, is to acquire those. It's like saying, you know, if you're playing chess, do you have any pawns? You have to, don't you? You can't start without them.
Right.
Right.
Wow. Right. Man, so how do you know who is... That's part of the game, huh? You don't know.
It's part of the game.
Yeah, it kind of makes it exciting, too, when you think about it.
It can be exciting and depressing. Mm-hmm. Well, this kind of goes back to...
Like, there's a lot of conspiracy theory stuff about that, you know?
Somebody says it's a conspiracy, but that doesn't make it the case.
Agreed.
In both of these cases that we've had these conversations, we are talking about the FBI and the CIA. So what do you think they do? So maybe we're unclear about what we think these agencies do. So now the question becomes, hey, do you think they be doing their job? I do. I do think they be doing their job. You mean all through history? Yes. Yes, I think they keep on doing their job. You think they get everybody? I think they get everybody. I don't wonder why stuff gets moved out of my way, because I asked for things to be moved out of my way. Like you asked earlier, like, aren't you scared? Like, I'm not allowed to be scared because I'm not counting on me. Like, you can't pick me up because you're not allowed to pick me up. There's not very much left on what it would take as far as abilities go. So
Do you think there's any artists now that you think are not the same artists that we thought they were?
if we're only speaking of biology, I've heard that a man's G-spot is in his anal passage, which means I'm gonna go my whole life without ever experiencing it.
Yeah.
By the same token, everybody is a reflection of what they gotta go through to get to where they at, right? And I just know that the people that have been in positions where they decided to do some stuff that they said they weren't gonna do, they don't be the same on the other side. Nothing they can do can make them seem like what you remember them as.
Have you ever
I call it spiritual because I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Have you ever faced that in your own life where people try to come at you for offers like that? Do you think that like stars and get offered that kind of thing, like to compromise themselves sexually for entertainment?
Again, the things that we are discussing exist in each of the fields.
Right, any field.
Right. Circles in politics, in the medical profession, in yeah.
In any circle of business, really.
Yeah.
And that we would still have it, privacy. Yeah.
Right. I'm saying.
Do you feel like in Hollywood that there are, I've heard you kind of allude to the fact that there's like kind of darker forces that kind of like, that present opportunities to people in trade-off, right? In trade for maybe their own peace, maybe their own reality, maybe a sacrifice of their actual direction that they want. Do you think that really happens, that kind of stuff?
I think everything is controlled and regulated. Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's ever ways where we can get to the control room and see who's controlling? Or do you think that's all?
We're past that. But we don't protect the whistleblower, right? We don't honor the scout that would tell us who it is. Matter of fact, when they get him, we're going to go, I could have told you that was going to happen. They were telling too much truth.
Do you think Hollywood has a lot of things that they like hold against people, Like I had a theory that...
A lot of this is human nature.
Right, so it's not even Hollywood, it's just human nature.
It starts as human nature.
Right.
Like I'm saying, these things that I'm saying in Hollywood exist in religions, not entertainment exclusively. Politics, religion, science, everywhere, right? Some of this is human nature, right? Because we listen and we don't judge.
Were there things that you didn't take in your career that you feel like were are there things to look out for? Do you feel like
there wasn't for me because I knew I wasn't going to take it, but I did want to get offered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And most of the stuff I wouldn't have believed until I had to get to a certain level to get to see the proof. You know what I mean? So I was as shocked as anybody about how powerful Harvey Weinstein was at the time that I was meeting with him, and how he could not be told no, that he get whatever he want. You follow what I'm saying?
That they'll figure out some way.
Right, so I thought that didn't apply to me because I don't care about nothing but bitches and good business, right? Yeah. And then he offered me 2 actresses like they was playing cards. And I was like, what?
Like he just jumped to the head like
he was like, I know you. Damn. Right, like what?
Some aces. Damn.
No, my personal aces.
Yeah. Did you think about it?
Look, I'm not in these scary situations. I don't even leave it up to me. Like, I'm going to do what the superhero would do in this part of the movie, regardless, and deal with what happens after. Yeah. Just because it's a story, and I know it's a story. Right. It's my story. You know what I mean? So I can't.
That's a good way to think about things in general.
Yeah.
What would the superhero do right now?
Yeah.
In Tinseltown, where million-dollar grins often conceal hidden truths, talk about Sean Diddy Combs has taken a sharp turn. The once-crowned hip-hop titan now faces grave accusations, and an unlikely duo, Katt Williams and 50 Cent, are leading the charge. Determined to expose what they call the darker side of Diddy's polished persona, their latest revelations have the internet in a frenzy. Williams, celebrated for his blunt, unfiltered comedy, reportedly leaked a roster of rappers allegedly intimate with Combs, rattling the music world. Meanwhile, 50 Cent, who's been sounding alarms about Diddy for years, now feels vindicated as these claims mirror his long-standing warnings. The drama intensified when Katt Williams appeared on a podcast and didn't hold back. With his characteristic straight-shooting style, Williams hinted at having evidence of inappropriate behavior involving Diddy and several unnamed rappers. He suggested these weren't just rumors, but verifiable incidents he personally knew about. What makes Williams' claims particularly powerful is his long-standing position in the entertainment industry. He's been in these circles for decades, witnessing the behind-the-scenes reality that fans never see. When asked how he could speak so confidently about these allegations, Williams responded with a chilling statement, "Because I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you." And this isn't the first time Williams has spoken out against powerful figures in the industry. He's built his later career on exposing what he calls the hidden truths of Hollywood, positioning himself as something of an industry whistleblower. But this time, his claims come with supposed evidence and a high-profile ally in 50 Cent. The Queens rapper has been vocal about his suspicions regarding Diddy for years, often making thinly veiled references on social media. Now, with Williams bringing forward what he claims is concrete proof, 50 Cent's previous statements appear less like petty rivalry and more like early warnings that went unheeded. What's particularly interesting is how Williams and 50 Cent have positioned themselves as protectors of younger artists. During his appearance, Williams suggested that many rappers felt unable to speak up about their experiences due to fear of industry retaliation or damage to their public image. This creates a problematic power dynamic where victims remain silent while alleged predators continue operating with impunity. By speaking out, Williams claims he's giving voice to those who cannot defend themselves, especially younger artists who might be vulnerable to exploitation by industry veterans with significant influence and power. The allegations come at a particularly challenging time for Diddy, who's already facing serious legal issues. These new claims only add fuel to an already raging fire, making it increasingly difficult for the music mogul to maintain his public image. What began as whispers in industry circles has now become loud enough for the general public to hear, forcing many fans to reconsider their perception of an artist they've followed for decades. The situation raises important questions about power, influence, and accountability in an industry that often protects its biggest moneymakers regardless of their alleged behavior. Looking closer at Katt Williams' allegations, we find a pattern of claims that extend beyond just naming names. Williams has suggested that these incidents weren't isolated events, but part of a systematic approach Diddy allegedly used with young, aspiring artists. According to Williams, Diddy would host exclusive parties where inappropriate activities would occur, often involving vulnerable artists hoping to advance their careers. Williams described these gatherings as having a separate party in the little rooms, implying that what happened publicly was merely a cover for more troubling private activities. This pattern, if true, would represent a serious abuse of power and position in an industry where connections can make or break careers. 50 Cent's involvement adds another layer to this developing story. Unlike many who might have stayed silent out of fear or professional courtesy, 50 hasn't minced words about Diddy. For years, he's been making statements suggesting inappropriate behavior, even sharing his own uncomfortable experiences with the Bad Boy founder. In one revealing interview, 50 Cent described an encounter where Diddy supposedly offered to take him shopping, an invitation 50 interpreted as inappropriate. He recalled, "I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him," suggesting he sensed something wasn't right about the interaction. These personal anecdotes from 50 Cent lend credibility to Williams' newer allegations, creating a concerning timeline of behavior that spans decades. What makes this situation particularly explosive is the alleged list of names Williams claims to possess. While he hasn't publicly revealed all the identities, the mere suggestion that such a list exists has sent the hip-hop community into speculation overdrive. Industry insiders are reportedly nervous, wondering if their names might appear, while fans are left questioning which of their favorite artists might be involved. This uncertainty has created a powder keg situation where each day brings the possibility of new revelations that could forever alter the landscape of hip-hop and the legacy of numerous artists. The power of this alleged list isn't just in who might be named, but in how it potentially exposes a culture of silence that has allowed inappropriate behavior to continue unchecked. The ripple effects of these allegations extend beyond just Diddy's reputation. They call into question the entire power structure of the music industry, particularly in hip-hop. Williams has suggested that many artists project tough, street-hardened personas while privately engaging in behavior that contradicts this image. He referred to these individuals as federal informants, implying a level of hypocrisy and deception in how they present themselves to fans. This critique strikes at the heart of authenticity in hip-hop, where an artist's street credibility often translates directly to commercial success. If Williams' allegations prove true, they could force a reckoning not just for individual artists, but for an entire culture built partially on carefully constructed images that may not reflect reality. The allegations also shine a light on the potential exploitation of young artists in the music industry. Both Williams and 50 Cent have suggested that Diddy used his position of power to take advantage of those hoping to make it big. This dynamic isn't new in entertainment, but the specific nature of these allegations brings renewed attention to how vulnerable young artists can be when facing industry gatekeepers. As Williams put it, these aren't just names. This is a whole list of rappers who had to go through a traumatic life experience just because of Diddy. This framing presents these alleged incidents not just as consensual activities, but as potentially traumatic experiences that may have left lasting psychological scars on the victims. Diddy's infamous parties have long been the stuff of legend in celebrity circles. With marble floors, champagne waterfalls, and guest lists featuring everyone from music legends to Hollywood A-listers, these gatherings represented the height of luxury and exclusivity. But according to Williams and others, these lavish events served a darker purpose. While cameras captured the glitz and glamour, they allegedly missed what was happening behind closed doors. Williams claimed, "They be having these big mansion parties, and the mansion party, the whole mansion is a party, and then it's a separate party in the little rooms." This description suggests a calculated setup where the main party served as cover for more private activities happening elsewhere in the mansion. The allegations extend beyond just inappropriate encounters to suggestions of manipulation and control. According to some sources, Diddy didn't just earn his position at the top of the industry through talent and hard work, but secured it by using younger artists as pawns in a larger game. When aspiring musicians are broke and desperate for their big break, influence becomes a powerful currency. The person throwing the exclusive party becomes more than just a host, they're a potential gatekeeper to success. This creates a situation where young artists might feel pressured to go along with requests or suggestions they might otherwise refuse, all in hopes of advancing their careers. As Williams put it, play the game, stay close, and you might blow up. But step out of line, you could vanish like you were never even there. And then some of the most disturbing allegations involve specific incidents with named artists. One such case involves rapper The Game, who has had a complicated relationship with Diddy over the years. According to industry rumors that Williams referenced, The Game and Diddy didn't just collaborate musically, but allegedly had a personal relationship that extended beyond professional boundaries. These rumors suggest Diddy offered The Game a substantial contract not purely based on talent, but influenced by their personal connection. This situation reportedly created tension between The Game and his older brother, Big Face 100, with whom he has a long-standing feud. The situation became public when Big Face uploaded a suggestive picture on Instagram showing Diddy and The Game in what appeared to be more than just a friendly embrace, with Diddy's arms wrapped around The Game in a manner that raised eyebrows. Another artist mentioned in these developing allegations is Method Man. According to sources referenced by Williams, Method Man was allegedly approached by Diddy in an unusual manner at a Los Angeles nightclub. Instead of directly inviting Method Man to join him, Diddy supposedly sent an intermediary to convince the Wu-Tang Clan member to get into a car with them. One source described the incident. Tracy Wapples was outside in a Benz saying, "Come on, Method Man never took that ride," but other artists weren't as quick to wave off the invitation. And that's where Katt Williams says the pattern turns from awkward to predatory. He claims the very next night a rookie R&B crooner climbed into that same Benz, only to re-emerge at sunrise looking like he'd sprinted a marathon in dress shoes. When the young singer tried to pull out of the performance obligations that followed, his promised album budget vanished, leaving him shelved for 3 years. Williams' story dovetails with a sealed 2024 civil complaint that describes an identical bait-and-switch tactic: lavish promises, sudden isolation, and a non-disclosure thrust in front of a shell-shocked performer before breakfast was even served. Rumors about those breakfast table contracts had swirled for years, but they reached critical mass after Homeland Security raided both Combs' Los Angeles and Miami estates in early 2024, hauling away hard drives and handwritten ledgers. Federal agents say the ledgers document hospitality expenses that balloon into 6 figures on nights when Combs hosted so-called celebrity game nights, a euphemism insiders now insist meant anything but monopoly. Those records have quietly become Exhibit 11 in the government's sweeping RICO indictment unsealed 7 months ago, which accuses Combs of orchestrating a criminal enterprise that blended party culture with coercion and cover-ups. The public finally saw the scope of that enterprise on May 5, 2025, when Judge Aaron Subramanian called the first panel of jurors into Manhattan's cavernous courtroom 21B. Inside, prosecutors laid out a timeline that sounds ripped from a streaming miniseries. Cassie Ventura's 2023 lawsuit and the CNN-released hotel hallway assault video triggered a chain reaction. 40 more civil suits followed in 10 months. Then came the grand jury that returned a 52-page indictment charging sex trafficking, kidnapping, witness intimidation, bribery, Even arson after one accuser's recording studio mysteriously burned the night she broke off contact. Enter the vault. Court filings reveal the prosecution subpoenaed an external hard drive, serial number ending 3F7C, delivered by private citizen Katt Williams, who is better known to millions of comedy fans as Katt Williams. Sources close to the investigation say the drive contains digitized high-8 camcorder tapes shot between 2003 and 2015 in greenlit VIP rooms, some showing guests who appear to be under 21. Because the footage predates modern phone metadata, prosecutors have relied on rental car receipts, flight manifests, and timestamped emails to authenticate what viewers are seeing, a paper trail Williams says he gathered with the help of a disillusioned ex-security chief known as G-Rod. Curtis, 50 Cent Jackson watched the subpoena news break from his Connecticut compound and logged straight onto Instagram. Within minutes, he posted an AI-generated meme of himself sitting on a jury bench 12 times over, captioned, "I told y'all I'd be everywhere puff looks." The post racked up 1.2 million likes and drew headlines from Hip Hop DX and XXL, both noting Jackson's years-long crusade to paint Combs as an industry menace. Insiders say Jackson's trolling isn't just theater. He has retained 2 former federal investigators to vet every tip that lands in his DMs, and to make sure none of his own old party photos can be weaponized at trial. The shockwaves keep spreading. Since the indictment dropped, Spotify curators have quietly tagged Combs' entire solo catalog and half of Bad Boy's 90s classics with an internal pending litigation flag. No tracks have been pulled, but 3 sources tell Billboard the flag allows the platform to yank songs from editorial playlists the moment closing arguments end, regardless of the verdict, to protect brand advertisers. At the same time, tour insurance brokers are rewriting force majeure clauses, letting promoters cancel any date if an artist lands on a federal witness list, even as a bystander. One mid-tier rapper lost a $2 million amphitheater run after his name appeared. Erroneously, it turned out, in a Reddit thread claiming he'd once attended a Combs yacht party. Back in the courthouse, the witness lineup looks like the startup roster for a hip-hop Hall of Fame if that hall suddenly flipped into a true crime museum. Prosecutors have subpoenaed Cassie Ventura, former Bad Boy intern turned whistleblower Jalen Marks, 3 anonymous backup dancers, and if Judge Subramanian allows it, Katt Williams himself. Defense attorneys argue Williams' stand-up routines make him too theatrical for jurors, but legal experts note the comedian isn't being called to deliver punchlines. He's there to authenticate chain-of-custody documents for the vault. That authentication could decide everything. If even one timestamp links Combs to an underage guest on tape, the RICO count alone carries a 20-year minimum. Add the sex trafficking enhancement and prosecutors could ask for life without parole. Combs' team insists any minors present had falsified IDs and that the footage is deepfake junk, noting that AI manipulation has exploded since 2024. Yet Williams claims he still has the original cassettes, and the FBI's Digital Forensics Unit has already issued a preliminary report calling the files unaltered analog transfers. While lawyers argue chain of custody, fans wage culture war. TikTok's Diddy Doomscroll hashtag has passed 500 million views, mainly clips of creators deleting No Way Out from their phones. Others fire back with innocent until proven duets, blasting 50 Cent for capitalizing on trauma. Even Theo, whose podcast birthed Williams' on-air confession, posted a follow-up reel asking viewers whether comedians should ever act as whistleblowers. "I used to just talk about possums, y'all, now people send me subpoenas." The reel pulled 750K likes in a day. Inside hip-hop's inner circle, the atmosphere is panic-laced. An A&R executive at a major label told Newsweek that 6 established rappers have demanded, recut, clauses allowing them to strip any recorded Diddy verse from upcoming albums if the trial goes south. Those contract tweaks cost money, studio time, new features, but executives call it cheap insurance against the nuclear fallout of a guilty verdict. Recording engineer Rico Reels took to Twitter to admit he's fielded frantic calls from multi-platinum artists begging him to delete entire 2010-era session logs. He refused, reminding them those files belong to the label, not the artist. His tweet ended with a shrug emoji and the line, "Hard drives remember more than people do." Meanwhile, Combs Global, the umbrella over Ciroc Vodka, De Leon Tequila, and Sean John Fashion, bleeds value by the hour. Private equity firm Millstone Capital suspended acquisition talks on April 28, citing material legal uncertainty. Forbes estimates Combs' net worth at $600 million today, down from $1.3 billion 2 years ago, largely due to advertisers fleeing the Spirits brands and Macy's pulling Sean John from 300 stores. A successful rebrand seems impossible until the trial ends. A conviction could bury the empire for good. Still, the defense sees one angle left: paint the accusers as fame-hungry opportunists. They point to the sudden spike in civil filings after Cassie's settlement, suggesting a bandwagon effect. Yet that argument weakens every time a new corroborating witness surfaces without suing for cash. Last week, a former Miami event planner handed prosecutors an email chain where Combs' assistant instructs staff to triple lock Blue Room doors before 2 a.m. The exact time multiple accusers say the most explicit activity occurred. The planner never filed suit, never asked for money. She says she just couldn't unsee the CNN video. Outside the courthouse, 50 Cent's trolling continues. He posted a photo of the Manhattan Detention Center with the caption, "BQE is jammed, puff. Waze says life sentence ahead." The quip echoes a comment he left under ABC News TikTok coverage of Combs' original arrest. "He gonna need more than cheesecake to walk this one off," riffing on their infamous Making the Band marathon walk for juniors cheesecake back in 2003. Journalists asked Jackson whether he planned to testify. He laughed. Why? Katt already bought the projector. And what of Katt Williams himself? Friends say he's hired extra security and rented an undisclosed studio to finish a new hour of material. He jokes the special might be called Racketeering in Reverse, How to Lock Up a Mogul with Jokes. It's bravado, sure, but beneath it is real risk. Federal whistleblowers enjoy limited protection, high-profile comedians do not. Yet Williams seems unfazed. He tweeted a single line after jury selection wrapped, "Pressure turns charcoal into diamonds, and diamonds cut glass cages." Fans translated that as a promise he'll take the stand if called. The calendar races on. Opening statements begin May 12. The prosecution plans to show the jury just 5 minutes of the vault on day one, no audio, faces blurred. Legal analysts say those silent clips will either haunt jurors for weeks or strike them as ambiguous party footage, depending on context. That context arrives when witness 17 takes the stand, a once chart-topping rapper whose NDA expired in January. His testimony, insiders whisper, ties Combs directly to the vault's most damning scene. Defense lawyers will drill him on past drug use and a 2016 bankruptcy, hoping to paint him unreliable. But the prosecution has bank statements showing a $110,000 wire from a Combs-controlled LLC to the rapper's cousin the morning after that alleged party. The memo line reads simply, "Consulting. If you're looking for the feel-good twist, don't. Every day of testimony threatens to yank another idol off the pedestal. Spotify's 90s hip-hop forever playlist could wind up looking like a crime scene soundtrack." Marketing departments inside sneaker and liquor companies are developing contingency plans. Scrub Diddy from archives, pivot campaigns towards safer legends, maybe even put more women executives out front to signal change. One Spirits insider quipped, "Xerox facing the same fate as Crystal post Jay-Z, except this time nobody's defending the brand." Yet amid the wreckage, a new narrative fights to be born. Survivors' advocates hail the moment as hip-hop's Me Too, long overdue. Law professor Dina Ferraz argues in Newsweek that the case could set precedent for holding music executives personally liable when after-party culture turns predatory, the same way film producers learned after Weinstein. If that happens, contracts across entertainment will sprout behavior monitors and third-party chaperones the way touring now requires COVID compliance officers. Artists used to shrug at NDAs. Soon they might sign conduct pledges with teeth. Back in Brooklyn's MDC, Combs reportedly spends 23 hours a day in his cell, listening to gospel through commissary earbuds. Visitors say his trademark swagger has evaporated, replaced by a subdued cadence that borders on resignation. On May 8, a Reuters photographer captured a lone fan outside the courthouse holding a cardboard sign. "Free the VIBES." Across the street, another sign answered, "Free the victims." The image went viral, the two slogans summing up the collision course of nostalgia and accountability. As we close this chapter, the stakes could not be higher. If the jury believes the vault, Puffy's legacy implodes, and every artist who danced in those LA mansions must reckon with what they ignored. If the defense sows enough doubt, fans may chalk it up to industry hazing and redownload Mo Money Mo Problems before the verdict ink dries. Either way, the next 4 weeks will rewrite more than one man's biography. They'll test whether a multi-billion-dollar culture can finally confront its darkest room. So keep your notifications on, because when Katt Williams steps into that witness box, velvet tracksuit or not, the court reporter's keystrokes won't just echo off oak walls. They'll reverberate through every streaming playlist, brand partnership, and backstage green room that ever claimed hip-hop was just entertainment. In a trial where old mixtapes morph into smoking guns, the beat doesn't drop until the gavel does, and right now the bass line is pure suspense.